It's time to talk all things X-Men, so I have my good friend Doc, the X-Men historian, the Marvel aficionado, in with me. How you doing, Doc?
Spectacular, brother.
All right, so Marvel have been rolling out the information about this soft reboot that they're doing for X-Men following the 10 Lives and Deaths of Wolverine, and we finally got a bit more information on Knights of X, X-Force, as well as New Mutants. We're going to hit that, and if there's time, we will talk about a very, very good issue of X-Men Legends.
Yes, sir.
You ready to do the thing?
Oh, hell yes.
All right, so we got Knights of X is going to be from Tini Howard and artist Bob Quinn, which I find disappointing that he's not going to be on the Legion of X series, but that is neither here nor there. This is following directly on the Excalibur run from Tini Howard, and it says Captain Britain is assembling a group of former members of Excalibur and others to venture into Otherworld to recover an artifact deeply rooted in mutant history, which Marvel's release is calling the Holy Grail of Mutant Kind. You know what's interesting, Doc? I'm still waiting for the Holy Grail of Marvel Comics, and that's a Tini Howard comic that doesn't suck ass.
Yeah, you're pretty much right on target with that. Or a Tini Howard comic that actually sells to anybody. That would be the double Holy Grail. And all we got to do is get the trifecta of a Tini Howard comic that matters.
Wow. Let's not get our hopes up too high. So let's talk about this Knights of X. They're going to be looking for the Holy Grail of Mutant Kind. Do you think this is a new artifact, or is this something that we've already seen, but they don't want to tell us what it is yet?
I think that it's probably going to be something that we've already seen. I mean, let's be honest here. Tini Howard has all of the creativity of a thumbtack. She's not going to come up with anything new or unique. All she's going to do is take something that's really not that big of a deal, blow it wildly out of proportion and claim that it's a big deal and claim accomplishment out of it. If they told us what this quote unquote Holy Grail of mutant kind was now, I think we'd all just groan and like roll our eyes. So look, they're making MacGuffin the comic, but there's always the possibility that they still haven't even decided what the MacGuffin is, because they're like, oh yeah, we'll come up with something.
Well, Doc, if they called you and they said, Doc, we're in Otherworld, we need to find the Holy Grail of Mutant Kind, what would you think it would be, just from, Excalibur history? We know Chris Claremont obviously, did a lot of world building there.
This is actually one that I'm terrible at answering because I never really liked Excalibur that much. I can
How
only
can you be the X-Men historian.
It's the one X-book, dude, that I just could not force myself through. It was
okay. So you read all of Vita Ayala's New Mutants?
No. What I mean,
okay, so there's like two titles that you couldn't force yourself through. Jeez, Doc. I'm poking holes in your story.
I don't consider anything post 2012 to actually fucking matter, so those don't count. Excalibur's never been one that I've been super into, but
we've already established that you can't come up with anything. That's fine, but we do know the name of the members of the team. Joining Betsy will be Richter, Shatterstar, Gambit, Rachel Summers, Bay the Bodacious, Gloriana Megan, and two more surprise characters. I'm expecting fully that Glitter Bomb is going to be one of these two surprise characters, Doc.
Wouldn't shock me, but maybe. Well, you know what? By the time this relaunches, they're going to already have you're probably already going to be on the 7th X-Men team. They'll probably put Rogue back in it because, well, she won't need to be on X-Men anymore because she'll have already been voted out with everybody else.
I thought Gambit was a stay-at-home cat dad. Is he bringing the cats with him?
Apparently.
The world's not safe for felines.
Yeah, well, Tini can't just get over emasculating Gambit a little bit more. Any opportunity she gets, go for it. That's what this is going to be. Gambit has all of the history with Excalibur as my foot does, and for a book that's supposed to be about bringing together characters from Excalibur's history, there's not a lot of fucking Excalibur members.
Well, I'm assuming that's what the surprise characters. Obviously, one of them's not going to be Glitter Bomb. I don't even think that's a real mutant, Doc.
I have no idea. It probably wouldn't surprise me. It probably is one of the ones on Iraqi or Araco.
Well, we got Bay the Bodacious.
Yeah.
Bodacious Bay, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What is it with Tini deciding to take like half of a couple into her comics?
I don't know.
This is a terrible idea. This book just nothing about this seems even remotely interesting.
It reeks of failure, Doc, and it hasn't even started yet.
Yeah. Well, it reeks
Hold on.
Yeah.
We've got a quote from Tini Howard. We got to hear what she has to say. Maybe Tini's got something that'll change your mind. At the end of Excalibur, we saw Merlin take control of Otherworld, transforming the Starlight Citadel into the Lunatic Citadel and raging his war on mutants from Saturnine's former throne. Captain Britain stayed within the gates, fell, but even with the whole court at her side, it'll take more than an army of one to bring down King Arthur and his furries?
Furies.
Oh. What do you think? Is that exciting?
Nothing about this is even remotely exciting. Honestly, I'm happy that Merlin took it over. Saturnine sucks.
Well, she continues on. This is what Tini Howard had to say. Let's give her whole quote. It says, "You'll recognize many of the knights from Excalibur's past, both my run and the classic, in a quest for a precious treasure that crashes our high fantasy tale into that most classic X-Men story, fighting for another world that hates and fears them."
Kill me. Throw this book in the sun right now, because nothing here. Most of these characters aren't from Excalibur's history. All this is Tini trying to validate herself.
It's a self-pat on the back.
Yes. She's self-validating, and nobody cares. Nobody bought it last time. Guess what? Nobody's going to fucking buy it this time.
Yeah, it should be retitled Knights of Cringe, but let's get into this next series. This is something that we enjoyed, at least early on. Unfortunately, Victor Bogdanovich is out. We've got Robert Gill essentially coming in and replacing him. I'm not hearing anything about a Kubert in here, so that's disappointing. But X-Force shall endure under Ben Percy. This is what Ben Percy had to say about what we can expect in X-Force. There has never been an easy time for X-Force, but the year ahead is going to be particularly chaotic and challenging. I can't get into too much detail about 10 lives, deaths of Wolverine, because Beast has listed those files as classified. Very funny. But I will say that there are repercussions for some of the characters, of course, but also for one of the Cerebro units, which has become sentient, and its hunger for intelligence and power is quite literal. Cerebrax is coming.
Just to clarify for you, what we're losing here isn't Bogdanovich and Kubert. We're losing Joshua Cassera.
Oh, yes.
Remember, this
is
is
not Wolverine. My bad.
Yes. But so now as for what Ben Percy here has to say, eat it. As for what Ben here has to say, like, look, he doesn't really tell us anything. The only thing he's doing is telling us that, remember what Doc said, like right at the beginning of all of this, and that better be the sentient Cerebro unit from the Joe Kelly and Steve Siegel area. Yeah, we're going to give you the sentient Cerebro unit from the Joe Kelly and Steve Siegel era. Except for I'm going to pretend like I came up with this myself. That's what this is. I already read this comic once. It was done better with better art by better writers. So
we've got more to this quote, Doc. Maybe he can wet your whistle with this bit of a preview. This is what Ben Percy continued on. You should also expect some dramatic shakeups to the team roster and a major transformation for Kid Omega that we've been building toward for some time. Take cover, because one of my favorite villains in the 616 is showing up in a multi-issue story I've been wanting to write for years. Expect for the man with the peacock tattoo to finally be unmasked. Robert Gill's art is mind-blowing and melting my email box. I can't wait to share it with you all. Get ready for menace, mayhem, and moral confusion.
Okay, well, first, regarding Kid Omega's change.
He wants to be a dad.
Yeah, how much more are they going to turn this guy into a fucking pussy? I'm sorry. But Kid Omega has now reached the levels of just pussy. He's not interesting. All of his edge is gone. Are they going to, like, have him start lactating too? No, fuck this guy. Fuck Kid Omega. He's been ruined. Good job, Ben. Now I am curious about who Ben's favorite villain of the 616 is, but I'm not even going to really guess at that one. Now, the only thing interesting here is that we're finally maybe going to get some resolution to the whole man with the peacock tattoo. That's not a peacock tattoo because it's a fucking embroidery on his sleeve. It's not a tattoo when it's on his shirt. But regardless,
maybe he has a shirt with the peacock tattooed on his body, and he's actually.
Oh, maybe he just actually has his clothes are tattooed on. So we've been watching him walk around naked this entire time.
Well, just the shirt. I'm not saying pants. Like, he's got bottoms, clearly.
Well, yeah, but it's on like his jacket and shirt sleeve.
Well, I don't know, man. Whatever. It's the guy behind,
Yes. Yeah, like the whole like Xeno thing.
Yeah, the only interesting thing that he's introduced.
Yeah,
his X-Force line.
And that hasn't really been even involved in the background very much. It's like, oh, and then if he should be trying to write this as like a B or a C plot, he's doing a very poor job of it because it
should be the A plot.
It really should, and it should be at least simmering in the background and not just like occasionally thrown in. But I am interested in seeing this. For as poorly as he's handled it as kind of the ongoing plot to this, I am curious to see some degree of resolution to it. That actually intrigues me. Now, Robert Gill's art, I'm sorry, the guy's not very good.
I like they called him like rising star Robert Gill. Is like, what the hell are you talking about?
He's
this is
really
like middling, average artist. He's better than me, but that doesn't mean that he should be on an important book at Marvel Comics. His art's it's sus, Doc. It's sus. That's the word.
It is. Like I'm not the biggest fan of Joshua Cassara, but Jesus Christ, I will take Joshua Cassara back over fucking Robert Gill, like in a heartbeat. The only person I wouldn't take Robert Gill over is that Gary Brown guy.
Gary Brown, the faces, man.
Yeah, like but Robert Gill's art is not very good either. Like I've seen some. I mean, it's okay. Maybe I'm being too harsh. But
you're not being too harsh. It's not very good.
Look, I'm sorry, Ben. For all the promise this book ever had, you've kind of ruined it. The only thing that could possibly redeem this is you actually figuring out how to bring the Sentient Cerebro from the 90s back in here, fix all your problems, use it as your fucking get out of jail free card.
Why doesn't he just reintroduce the Sentinels and let them win? I'll be like, man, this is a great run. Finally, something I wanted to happen happened.
Yeah, like I'd be very much in favor of the Sentinels just coming and killing the entire island.
I wanted an Omega Sentinel was right t-shirt. That's what I'm gonna
do. Master Mold.
Nimrod is my homie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hey, look, Marvel, if your goal for this era was to make actual humans hate the X-Men as much as the fictional humans do, congratulations, you achieved it.
Well, let's see. We're going to end this on a high note. You knew I was going to bring this home with some positive coverage of the X-Men potentially. We've got New Mutants under new management. Has been for some time. It's really been a maligned title. It started out so uneven, and it's been very easy, even as of late. It's just been, kind of not very good. And this is what they had to say about the upcoming New Mutants under Vita Ayala. They were the central stars of the groundbreaking classic X-Men crossover Inferno, and now, over 30 years later, Illyana Rasputin and Madeline Pryor are ready to fan the flames once more. Illyana is the rightful queen of Limbo, but she's been awfully busy on Krakoa, and now that Maddie's back in action, she's determined to sit on the throne that was once promised her. Who will you bow down to? Who you bowing down to, Doc? Who's your queen?
I'm bowing down to keeping my money in my wallet.
I thought you liked magic.
I like magic, and I really was happy for Maddie coming back. But it's a Vita Ayala comic. You could not pay me money to read it. I just
make you read these in our Worst of the Week segment. You know that, right? You can't escape this.
Fuck you.
I'm a terrible person, Doc. You know this.
Yeah, exactly. No, look. They spent all of Hellions trying to set up Maddie coming back just to ignore, like, the Her and Havoc portion of Maddie coming back. So good job. And then they're going to get all the payoff from Maddie being back is going to happen in a Vita Ayala comic.
Zeb Wells is doing Amazing Spider-Man. He ain't got no time for X-Men. I don't blame him. I would have jumped ship too.
I would have jumped ship too. No, it's
like being in the special class. And you're like, listen, can I just go back to where the other kids were?
Yeah,
I don't feel right here. I don't mind being the smartest kid in the classroom, but this isn't exactly what I was looking for.
No. And as for, look, I'm sorry, but Ileana wasn't really even a star of Inferno. Like, she barely was involved. I mean, over in the New Mutants issues, I guess she was a little involved because she was in fucking New Mutants. But all of the X-Men issues that story really was about, with Maddie and the goblins and the demons coming to Earth, no, she wasn't really involved in that. All this is now, it's a catfight comic. Good job.
Listen, if they go back to that WWE, like that sweet era with Stone Cold and The Rock and all that, and they do like I don't know, was it like a gravy match? Remember when they wrestle in a pool of gravy, or a bra and panties match? I'll probably read it.
Yeah, maybe a bra and panties match. Or
you don't want to see him fighting gravy?
No. Maybe Jesus, just maybe. Oh, you know what? Wet t-shirt contest for Who Rules Limbo.
Listen, that would fall right in line with the Ten of Swords theme. They created the world. We're just living in it, Doc.
Exactly. We're the ones that, look, if you need to compete to win a championship, it's got to be something fucking ridiculous and stupid and have nothing to do with the championship you're trying to win.
I don't find really any of this new information all that compelling, although some of the information Ben Percy released was more compelling than the rest. We shall see. I have no expectations for Knights of X. I think it's going to suck. We'll see what happens with the X-Force if it rebounds. I don't particularly like this artist, and New Mutants is a trash fire. There was one good comic book this week that came out of X-Men. It was X-Men Legends. Is it number 10? Fabian Nicienza and Dan Jurgens?
Yes. Number 10.
All right, Doc, give them your 1 minute review, because we're winding this thing up. We're wrapping this thing up.
It was a good comic that I didn't have any, like, I was a little questioning about, like, for the first couple of pages, and Fabian totally flipped the script on me by like page 6 or 7, and I really enjoyed it. It's kind of, it was a very Sinister centric comic. I want to see where he was going to be taking Sinister, because this is the Sinister I like. Fuck the Kieran Gillen Sinister.
And if you're looking for more X-Men coverage, earlier this week we talked about the X-Men Vote 2022. Also, the confirmation that Hellfire Gala is returning next year, or this year, if we're in the next year now. If you haven't checked it out, here's the video now. I think you'll like it. Had a lot of fun doing this one.